I feel genuinely badly for my family, for my daughter. I feel sorry for other people's daughters also. Some truly hellish occurrences did occur in the last year almost. I was deceived. I am deceived. I remain deceived. I'm really kind of disappointed. I want the truth. Believe that. Believe that the truth matters to me more than my feelings. And I just realized that on the best evidence that is available to me, there are at least 1/3 more coincidences which are. I say there's no such thing as coincidences, right? So let's say that there isn't. So a good coincidence is, what would a good coincidence be called? A good coincidence would be called serendipity, right? An itch, sorry, jackasses. But what about a series of coincidences which lead you to draw totally logical conclusions, which people feed into deliberately? But what if I'm just such a powerful magician or creator or God? I mean, hello? What if I'm so powerful that I lead to people creating things? I create the coincidences, even though I'm not active in any of them. That's amazing. Well, I'm actually self-conscious now for the first time. You know, the worst thing that a woman can do is live vicariously through her child or her children. And usually that's at the expense of her sons, or at the expense, she's got to get, where do you get the energy? Where's the incentive to live vicariously through daughters? They have to get that energy from somewhere. They got to prostitute their daughters. They have to, lean their daughters out a little bit. because that attention which is given to their daughters reflects directly upon their own vagina and their minds. I had a friend of mine say that I humiliated the entire world or most of the world, when I analyzed female sexuality. And I did an excellent job of it, didn't I? I really nailed it. Yes, look for faults in me now to make yourselves feel better. Is that pillow dirty? I think the pillow's dirty. Yes, it is. Thanks for noticing. You're very observant. You guys are good helpers. You know? See, why are you thinking about dirtiness, though? I don't understand. Is that how you see yourselves? Is that how I see myself? Yeah, I give myself Fall Guy of the Year award. It's like, you know, that dude in Men in Black International, the gnome. That gnome's based on me. Always saying I'd fall on my sword. Always talking about the goddess, the queen. It's not funny though. It's not funny at all. I don't know if anyone remembers, but when I was talking about my wife, and about how on the 4th of July someone had pushed her in front of me, forcing a collision, which I actually, because I was swimming and I was uncomfortable being in the water anyway, because so many strangers were there, including this guy who had been kind of creepy to me. It's not easy to be creepy towards a guy, but he was. Like, he wouldn't say his name, and, you know, I was like, you look like a bass player in a band I knew. And he's like, there's a lot of bass players. You know, like, he was creepy. He's the only guy that's ever been creepy, I've ever noticed being creepy towards another dude, was him. And later on, I was swimming, and he physically shoved her into my path. And, you know, I come up from under the water, and I'm like, oh, did I just punch you? And then I turned to him, and she's like, no. And I'm like, did I just punch you? Because I felt my hand hit something, but I know for a fact that she was not there. And I don't know how I know that he pushed her. I have pretty good ESP sometimes. He pushed her right in front of me. I got a picture of him, so now I know who he was at least. Based on today so far, I realize that the craziness of the truth of my relationships is real. Is real. I think that non-humans play a large role in this. I think that they've pretty much screwed me up as much as they can. It's really not looking like much fun anymore for them, so. I wondered when they'd get tired of me. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Maybe I'm thinking too much. But this has been a taxing day. So how do I feel about the truth? I feel like there's people who are probably mostly or totally okay people, but I don't care what new discovery I've made today. As far as I'm concerned, they're still not human. In any way, shape, or form, I've never seen humans conduct themselves in such ways. Ever. But I saw something cool at the gym last week. I saw two guys, they both took a shot with a basketball from like 12 to 16 feet probably. And they both made the shot. And then they put the ball down and said, what? They said, one of the guys said, now just let the ball roll. And it was like perfect. Because I was just walking onto the basketball court, which is usually a good time for people to get out of there half the time. Not because I want them to or I don't, just the way it is. Where I go, people vacate the area. Usually with some notable something notable about, you know? I'm the one that's different though, right? I'm the one who has my beard trimmer magically disappear. Over and over again. Things disappear, then they reappear. You know, it costs money to replace a beard trimmer over and over again. I have pieces and parts of like 4 or 5 different beard trimmers now. Like, really, where do beard trimmers go? Why does this happen with my stuff and not anyone else's? There's not enough energy to go around. There's not enough love. Women aren't feeling beautiful enough. How beautiful do they have to feel? The world's becoming more and more insane, and so are the people in it. So if you have noticed that you're insane, then it's safe to say that you're not alone. But the black hole of of my life is truly terrible and vast. I don't care how much of this world I'm creating all on my own. Or we. I just totally feel the absence of this wife. When she's absent, I can feel it. Whether she's a she-devil tempest who led me to the cliffs where I will soon perish, or whether she's gonna arrive in 3D. We will see. Oh yes, we will see. I am just so sorry to my daughter, Haven. So sorry. So fucking sorry. Yeah, and this isn't like injuries you ever come back from. You see this? Roam the wild. You know, this was one of the shirts that stay wild, roam the unknown. Like, this is one of the shirts I got last Christmas. The other one says run for the hills. And they thought, you know, Haven's mom and grandma thought these shirts were perfect for me because I'm strange, I'm wild, I'm out there, you know, in the night sky. It's very easy to romanticize me. But the Run for the Hills shirt, that's me. That was given to me because they were after me. She would say jokingly, "Oh, MK Ultra's after you, huh?" I don't even feel like talking crap about her. I'm sad for her, too. She didn't have a say in this life. People say, "Oh, yeah, we get a say." You know, I chose my parents. I chose this life. But don't you ever look at it and be like, even if it's just one day, like today, don't you ever look at it and say, no one would choose this? No one would choose this. There's no reason, you know? Yeah. It'll be fascinating. I want to know what's next in the story of this thing. I can't call it a life anymore. It's a thing. It's a thing. I'm a thing. If I don't make it another couple months, sometimes there's no right thing to do. And that's like become a theme in my life. I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. It's a theme. You don't need an example. It goes on and on and on. It just doesn't stop. You can die young and be a hero, or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. But the truth, the world's always relied on honest people. Honest men, good men. Truly, to be a good man, the only requirement is honesty. If you are consistently honest, and you know that honesty is your way of life, you will automatically be a better man than any others who don't have that code of honesty and integrity. This is the most important statement I'll ever make in my life. My life is just getting much worse by the day. The threats are increasing. The grandparents are moving in downstairs at the same time that, literally, like, they're moving in. I could just hear them moving in the refrigerator. And at the same time they're moving in, Haven's mom is trying to get me to check myself into a mental hospital on the same day they're moving in. She wants me to leave and get a personality transplant. And then she won't love me. She never loved me. She wanted to have a child, but she didn't want to be a mom. She wanted to have a child just so as a gift to her own parents. So, here's a shitty truth, Haven. Your mom didn't want to be a mom. She wanted her parents to be grandparents. She never loved me. She used me. And as sad as this is, for me, it works out fine for them downstairs. Apparently they're nice to you. They're already teaching you that, I mean, you might not remember this when you're older, but They're already teaching you that grandpa is your father and I'm a babysitter. You deserve to know this if you forget, because I don't know why people lie as much as they do. But I remember breaking down and crying a couple years ago, saying to Dawn, I don't want to be replaced. I don't want Haven to get to the same age that Maya did, and then, once most of the work's been done of, you know, raising a young child, to be replaced by, the grandparents and everyone who swarms in. And she lied and said, oh, I won't replace you. And ever since then, she's known my fear, and that's been what she's been playing towards. She threatens me constantly. And with the different agencies involved in our lives, and your grandfather being such a weak coward, and your grandmother being so dumb, and your mom not having much moral fiber or integrity or any ethics. She certainly didn't have a man to teach her any, just arrogance, stupidity is what she was taught. And arrogance and stupidity is winning out, apparently. They don't want me here. They want me dead. It feels like a lot of people put a lot of energy. Their last best bet was, if I die, then their lives get better, or they get a second lease on life. That's how it feels. See, I don't want to die. I live in too many dimensions, and I think that as much as the world understands anything, they understand I live in dimensions. Dimensions that I may or may not understand better than anyone. But dimensions that still don't make sense. In the universe, you say all the world's a stage and all the people are merely actors. Well, that's fine. And it may be true. May. Varying times to varying degrees, Like magic. I guess that refrigerator moved in very quietly, almost magically. I mean, it's basically impossible for that feat to have occurred. Yet, it appears that it did. So, yeah, if I can manage to get the fuck out of this world, I probably will truly be wishing remember this room? Remember the wall of Bella? This is where my pretend wife lived. Don't ask how I became convinced. It's a series of long stories, cue baby. But whatever I was supposed to learn, I guess judge not. I guess that's the big moral of everything. You know, that's if I had to guess. And if you're going to have a sexual relationship with your daughter, then when she has a relationship, stop doing so. World, have a little bit of dignity, you know? When the truth of all things is revealed, anyone who's smugging at us, or anyone is gonna have a bad day. And apparently it's true. That the lost symbol is a book of prophecy. When I went to jail for trying to get the hell out of here, and I was shoved. I knew they were trying to get me to be with Ella too. I knew it. I bitched about it a lot. It didn't leave until then. And you know, the romantic in me can't feel anything today, which is probably good. A little bit sobering. And the truth is that true honesty, I don't even know if I was in love with her or not. Maybe, I mean, whoever I was talking to, and sometimes, you know, we're psionic around here, we're magic. Sometimes, Haven, that was you I was talking to on that WhatsApp. Sometimes, maybe all the time. If so, you're the fucking goddess. My daughter, the goddess. I wouldn't be surprised. not much would surprise me. But realizing that, my cellmate, Zachary S., having the same name as Zachary S., Zachary Solomon, in the lost symbol, and having his body shaved and covered in tattoos, just like Zachary Solomon from the lost symbol, means pretty soon I'm going to be dead as fuck, or rich as hell. So who else? Some of the people who were imitated were messaging me through Facebook, playing their games until they weren't even allowed to anymore. DB was one. Like within the last week and a half. Don was the other. I have to remember the good times. See that light turn on? That's where she says she is. My soulmate. She says she's in the kitchen. She's always in the kitchen. Once you dedicate your life to something, you give up a component of free will. If the world needs you and you're willing to serve the world, in the capacity that I found the world needed from me the most was the issue of children and sex and psychology. I believe that. That has been, and until I'm fucking dead, as dead can be, I'm gonna be dedicated to that. She's in the kitchen. And if I'm rich as hell, I'm gonna be super dedicated to that. And if I'm powerful and rich, I made a lot of promises. My heart's a little broken right now, but like the goddess said, it's not how many times the heart can break, it's how many times can it heal. And I woke up this morning, came out here, and you were on the phone, Haven, and you were mad. Maybe you knew I wanted to, you're pretty smart. Maybe you knew how I felt about my life these days. These walls just keep closing in, And I never went downstairs anyway. Go ahead and give me hate. Try feeding off me, you fucking vultures. It's kind of entertaining. Kind of. forget, where does the time go? Where does the love go? What did I do with myself? I taught the world and let the women eat me up, spit me out. Maybe. Yeah, all works both ways. She said that a lot. It doesn't always make sense. There's no medicine or diagnosis that's gonna fix the truth, which is what I'm saying. This is all true. Nothing's gonna fix this. Me going to a psychiatrist to conveniently be have my credibility compromised right in the midst of people moving in, just having me out of the way long enough. The few things I own, she tried to throw away from the beginning. My guns, she was like, throw them away. I'd go for a walk. She'd be like, get back here, I'm gonna throw your guns out the window. Well, Maya and Dawn conspired well, right? To burn down my house. Mike Vedrani wanted that house burned down too. I guess this is just a big joke, a big hell. But it's all relative. So we'll see.